Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to IPH School's Open House Interactive Talk.
My name is Marsha Theodora Hutomo.
And I am Haley Conchoro.
We are from the Upper Secondary Department of IPH School's East and West Campus. We will be serving as your moderators today.
You will be witnessing an interactive talk about a very timely subject. But before we get started, we wanted to take a few minutes of your time.
As part of the IPH School's effort to provide you with timely topics and interesting speakers, we would gladly appreciate your virtual presence and cooperation in today's event. You can participate with us by sending a comment or question in today's live session, because there will be a special giveaway for 3 lucky winners who ask. So shoot your shot, because who knows what precious gift you'll get.
Before we start, for any of our viewers out there, feel free to drop some questions in the comment section. Now, moving along to our session, please welcome Kak Ricky and Kak Amri, who will be speaking to us about data science.
Welcome Kak Ricky dan Kak Amri. Thank you ya sudah meluangkan waktu untuk menghadiri IPH Interactive Talk. Jadi sekarang saya langsung mempersilahkan waktunya untuk Kak Ricky dan Kak Amri untuk memperkenalkan diri dan menjelaskan tentang big data.
Okay, maybe in the first 20 minutes, I will do the presentation, and the rest will be in the Q&A session will be helped also covered by Amri. So I will just share my screen first. Okay, hello data people, and good afternoon in Indonesia, good morning in the UK, because I am currently living in the UK. And it's very exciting today. It is my first time to present or deliver presentation fully in English. And especially what is more interesting that the topic is very interesting for me, that is big data. So we're gonna talk a lot about data today. Hopefully all of you will be interested in asking a lot of questions about these big data topics. So yeah, I'm just gonna shortly introduce myself. My name is Ricky Herliansha. I'm currently third year PhD student at University of Edinburgh, and yeah, a little bit of my publications and awards. I did my bachelor in Universitas Mula Warman and my master at University of New South Wales, Sydney, Australia. And I work as a lecturer at Institut Teknologi Kalimantan, Balikpapan. So I don't want to talk more much about myself. I would just want to start about this interesting discussions. I have a video. I think the next one should be the video. So, okay, maybe I'll just stop here and maybe one of you can share the video. Who is gonna share the video? Okay, cool.
So we constantly produce a lot of data, for example, via social media, public transport, and GPS. But it goes way beyond that. Daily, we upload 55 million pictures, 340 million tweets, and 1 billion documents. In total, we produce 2.5 quintillion bytes a day. That's a lot of zeros. It's ridiculous. We call this big data. But what's actually more important is what you can do with it. To process big data, you don't need huge computers. People work with the cloud, an endless network of normal servers, and powerful algorithms. This way, they can analyze over 1 million pieces of data in minutes. And the result? Well, for example, video streaming website Netflix analyzed the big data of their viewers, like popular shows and watching patterns. This way, they produced a successful series with the perfect combination of actors, directors, and storyline. Right now, the big data of traffic is being analyzed to develop a car that can drive completely accident-free all by itself. And in the future, we can even use the big data of DNA to determine the perfect treatment. This way, curing genetic diseases like cancer would become much easier. And that's just the start.
Okay, that short video summarizes all the things that you need to know about big data. What is big data and how do we collect them? What we're gonna do with them, and what is the future looks like with the big data. So it's very interesting thing, and especially in this digital era where every information is like social medias and our like transport, our like daily activities like being monitored and recorded real time. So this creates a big data, which is a huge amount of information. So let me go back to my slide. Wait. What? Okay. So yeah, that's what a big data is, and I'm assuming that while all of you who are watching this live streaming video already have a basic ideas about what a big data. So we're just gonna have a look at into more detail, especially in Indonesia, what actually big data do in Indonesia and what we actually contribute to big data and what they do with our data. So as we can see here, Indonesia is one of the biggest countries whose population is very dense in the world. And because of this huge population, of course, that we are also like one of the biggest targeted country when doing digital marketing, because they know that we have a lot of internet users in Indonesia. So for example, Facebook, we rank as a third biggest country for using Facebook after United States. So like 140 million people use Facebook nowadays, which is quite a lot. So what actually Facebook do and collect from ourselves? So as we know, maybe not all of you, especially the millennial young people. So we have very different generations. But in my generations, we used to play with Facebook a lot. Maybe nowadays the students nowadays doesn't play Facebook that much. You play more like TikTok, maybe Instagram, but it's basically the same idea. So before you create an account, you have to fill in a few information such as your birthday, your where do you do, and also the locations like you stay, your hometown, and sometimes you need to also identify your gender, and also you need to also put your email and put your mobile number. This information alone already more than enough to classify ourselves, to profiling ourselves. So there's just like small information that contribute to this big company, Facebook. And what's more, we also like to post our stories about what we like to eat, where do we often to spend time with, and where do we go every weekend. And even like we sometimes put the locations where we mostly go for the whole week. And this kind of information will then create a big data for Facebook. Can you imagine how many Facebook users in the world? And if they can like easily target it by classifying the users based on their activities, based on where they spend most of their time, and then that will help Facebook to target us to promote the advertisement. So everyone might get different advertisement depending what activities are you doing in the Facebook, what profile that you create in your Facebook. So that's very fascinating. And how does it work? It's actually just quite simple, because analyzing this big or huge amount of data, quintillion of data, is not possible for human, right? So we use the help of technology and a powerful algorithm to analyze all this big data and create the profiling for each group of people that you want to target it. So that's just very crazy in this digital era. So I'll just give you another example, quick example. Have you maybe ever noticed that when you type something in WhatsApp, or you want to chat someone, that you're saying, I want to buy this thing, I want to buy this thing, and suddenly the advertisement appear out of nowhere in your Instagram. It's like it can read your mind. Like, I want to buy shoes, and then shoes appear out of nowhere. That the company maybe advertisement about shoes then come into your Instagram. That's not just a coincidence. They do it by powerful algorithm. They do every single activities based on your chat and your posting, and they encrypt their text into behavior, even your characteristic. That's just how wonderful and powerful the big data analytics is. So another example is one of the biggest company, the biggest startup in Indonesia is Gojek. I'm sure every single of you must have used this app before. So there are a lot of services here, and they collect a lot of data based from their user activities, such as travel records, your spending, and many more. Like, what do you often spend most of your money or your GoPay in this app? So it will help them then create a profile and targeted specific marketing promo for each of you. So for example, if I use Gojek for the most of my time only for traveling, then I will maybe get the advertisement about the discount for the travel. But if you spend most of your time, in Gojek app by spending on foods, maybe you will get a lot of discount on foods because they know who are their customers. And you have to be smart to target your customer. So in order to do so, you need data people. You need a data scientist to analyze this. So yeah, that's just one of the example in our country. So I will go back to the second video. I'll stop sharing and I will see what further the big data analytics can do.
Illinois.
Welcome to the digital age. In today's connected world, we're living much of our lives online. As a result, companies everywhere are creating large storehouses of data on all of us. The most obvious information being collected is social media data. Everything you post publicly, and in some cases, privately, is being stored and analyzed. But it's not just social media. There is now a digital record of everything you buy, everything you watch, where you go and what happens at your house. Even your physical characteristics are tracked and stored. All of this data is being used to create profiles of us. Using unique algorithms, they are able to cater marketing strategies directly to you. Some groups are even profiling your personality to specially adapt their interaction with you. The aggregation and storage of this data is becoming one of the most profitable enterprises on the planet. Everything you post, tweet about, like, and more is being collected. Even the location from where you post can be gathered and can be tracked in real time, putting you at risk. Even after social media accounts are deleted, personal information can still be collected through a variety of means. After all is said and done, it's important to know what is being done with your data and to make informed decisions on what you post. You don't have to stop tweeting. You don't have to abandon social media. Just ask yourself these questions before you post. Am I okay with this existing forever? Am I okay with this being read by anyone? Am I okay with this being used to profile who I am? If so, post away. Enjoy social media responsibly. For more information, please visit go.illinois.edu/smprivacy.
Okay, I'll go back to my slide again. So the message from this Okay, we just go. So the message from the last short video is just you need to be responsible and aware of how your data is being used. So it's your responsible to protect your own data, your personal information, because in this digital era, everything can be done, everything can be easily manipulated. So if you give away your data, personal information easily, then it can be used by someone who has bad intention towards you. Even you are not aware of that consequence. So yeah, I'm just trying to say that no matter how perfect the system is, no matter how perfect the technology is, there is always a dark side, the dark side of each technology, not to mention the big data. There are quite a lot of the dark side of the big data and how that actually affect our life, our daily life. Actually, I have a book here. I love read this book. And the title of this book is Weapons of Mass Destructions, and how could a model can distract and become a destructive weapon in the world. And it's very fascinating how this mathematics can actually harm people. So this is just one of the dark side of the big data. So I just want you to be aware as well the other side of the big data. And especially in Indonesia, we are not really good at data protection. So I actually read a few days ago about the rule, legislation about the data protection, but I think it's not really common still. So for example, have you ever asked when you fill in a survey or fill in your information that they ask your concern, they will gonna use this data for this purpose, they're gonna use this data for this purpose? I don't think so. They never ask that kind of question, never ask what they're gonna do or ask permission what they're gonna use for our personal information for. And yeah, that's just how weak our data protection in our country. So we need to protect our own personal information. But in developed countries such as UK, if you miss, for example, if you're working as a university staff or officer and you miss one laptop that contain useful information, you can get a fine up to $300,000 or pound just because you would lose one laptop containing very, very important information. So this just very the developed country really protect their citizens' data. And we do the research and so many things. We also have to do data protection training to make sure that we are aware the consequence of collecting people's data and what should we do and what should we not do about their data and something like that. So yeah, but here, because we talk about data scientists, I will just make a brief short presentation for this session. And what people actually do when working as a data scientist, working with big data. So let's have a look at what the qualification and also what is the future of the big data. So from the data that we collected from reliable sources, that data talent, this is telling us about the data talent shortage in 2000, I can see, wait, in 2020. So as we can see that there is always a growth in job listing. That means that there will always an increasing in data scientist requirement or data scientist jobs every year by 70%. So this number keep increasing, especially as people are more aware about how to make decisions based on data. And also it's ranked as a third in job ranking as of top jobs in 2020. And also the salaries, the average salaries increased 40%. And also almost all the companies expand their data science team, for almost more than half of the companies already aware of this and they expand their data team. That means they need more data talent in the company. Even in the government right now, everyone is now aware about how many data that we have, but we never touch them. We never analyze or make best use of them. And what the data talent composition in Indonesia actually. So there are a couple of professions in Indonesia that work as a data talent. So the highest proportion is the data analyst, and followed by the data scientist and also data engineer. And we also have the researcher and business analyst. And I bet you might wondering what is the difference between data analyst, data engineer, and data scientist. I'll leave that question in our Q&A session. Maybe Mas Amri also will help us to answer and differ what is the difference between these terms. So I just want to know that this is what is data talent, the composition of data talent in Indonesia. And also, what is the qualification if you want to work as a data talent, especially in Indonesia? And most of them, like more than 60% of them are bachelor. Yeah, for now, maybe in the future, this number will change. And the highest proportion, almost 50% of them are their background level education is from the information system or technology, or something like computer science, something similar, followed by mathematics and statistics, and then like just about 10% economics and management and business, and the others is just 5%. So if you want to work as a data talent, data scientist, so I think you also need at least to choose among the top 3, because to be a data scientist is very related to a computer science and statistics. So you have to be aware of that, of the fact of that knowledge. So yeah, so for all of you who still sit in the senior high school and wondering what to choose and whether you want to work as a data scientist or not. So if you want to work as a data scientist, you gotta choose one of these topics or these courses, subjects. But it's not just stop there, because being data scientist is not simply as like just you work with data. It's not as simple as that, because that's why there are different terms for being a data talent, like data analyst and data scientist. And yeah, working with data means also you have to make a good decision, and especially as data scientist, after you get the insight from your data, you don't stop there. You need to also get the the insight and make a decision what you are gonna do after you get the results. I think I'm running out of time and just give you the last video to summarize my presentation.
여러분은 손글씨 256자로 자신만의 폰트를 쉽게 만들 수도 있고 또 안녕하십니까. 인제컴퍼니 대표 원인재입니다. 우리나라의 범죄 예방이나 시설물 보호를 위해 설치한 CCTV는 현재 800만 대에 육박합니다. 안타깝게도 이 많은 CCTV들이 대부분 사건 발생 후에 그 힘을 발휘합니다. 물론 예방도 하긴 합니다. 사람의 눈으로 24시간 수십 개로 쪼개진 CCTV를 감시하면서 말이죠. 그러다 보니 놓치는 상황도 종종 발생하고 체력적인 한계에도 부딪힙니다. 이런 한계를 넘어서기 위해 기술은 존재하죠. 인제컴퍼니의 인공지능 솔루션 가디언즈 AI가 바로 그 기술입니다. 보시는 것처럼 가디언즈 AI는 CCTV에서 수상한 사람의 움직임을 감지해 상황과 관련된 기관에 즉시 연결할 수 있도록 네트워크 구성이 되어 있습니다. 우리는 CCTV에서 이상 감지를 위한 핵심 기술 중 하나인 사람 인식 기술의 정확도를 93.2%까지 달성했습니다.
안녕하십니까. 삼산텍 대표 서달미입니다. 기술은 우리를 보다 편리한 세상으로 인도하죠. 하지만 이 기술 때문에 오히려 이 세상이 불편해지는 분들도 있습니다. 바로 시각장애인 분들이 그런 분들 중 하나죠. 이런 분들을 무시한 채 혁신을 향해 나가기만 한다면 아마 새로운 세상에 적응 못하는 많은 분들이 다칠 겁니다. 저희 삼산텍은 기술의 혁신뿐만 아니라 이런 분들을 위해서도 존재해야 된다고 생각합니다. 그 기술을 지금부터 보여드리겠습니다. 영실아, 지금 내 앞에 있는 걸 읽어줄래?
눈길 서비스는 안내견에서 모티브를 얻어 시력을 잃은 분들의 생활을 보조하고자 만들어진 시각장애인용 인공지능 안내 서비스입니다.
영실아, 지금 내 앞에 뭐가 보이지?
2명의 여자와 4명의 남자가 앉아 있습니다.
It actually works. That's amazing.
Okay, so just stop the video. Yeah, I should wrap up the presentation. Sorry, over time a bit. I didn't see the time. Okay, I'll then return to Harley and Masha for the Q&A session.
So yeah, thank you, Kak Ricky, for the presentation. Itu ya, jadi big data itu very wide ya, especially as what you have mentioned in this digital era. Jadi, so to know further about big data, kita sekarang akan continue to the Q&A session.
To start with, itu pertanyaan pertama, is it easy kayak to become a data science expert kayak gitu?
Okay, should we answer directly?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Mas Amri, want to help? Want to start?
Okay.
Is it easy?
Yes. Thank you, Mas Ricky. So the first question is from Edward. Is it easy to become a data science expert? So my answer is, yeah, it's easy, but it's a long way journey. If I can I share my screen? I want to show about this. So data science is three top is a combination from 3 topics: math and statistics, and domains or business knowledge, and then computer science or IT. But the most important things to become a data scientist is we should improve or learning about a sense of data. What is the meaning of the sense of data? It's like when we face a new data, or when we face data sets, we already knew about what should we do with the data. It's just like we should become the expertise of data. So yeah, it's easy. It's kind of easy, but it's a long way journey. I think it's like that. Yeah, maybe Mas Ricky want to give more explanation about that. Thank you.
I think that should be clear enough to answer whether it's easy or not. But I would say it's not easy to be a data scientist because data scientist salary is one of the highest in among the top jobs, as we can see. Because it is not easy to become a data scientist, you need to master 3 different areas, as Mas Amri shared before: math, statistics, computer science, and domain knowledge. And most of us only like mastering one of them. Like, I'm only doing statistics, perhaps I do a little bit of computer science, but domain or business knowledge is not easy, and also the other way around. So therefore, becoming a data scientist is a long journey. It requires a lot of experiences, and as Andri said, is sense of data is quite very important to be data scientist. So yeah, hopefully it answered the question.
So like, if it's hard, why did you choose to become a data science expert gitu kan? It's a long journey gitu.
That's quite an interesting question. Why do I choose to be in this area? So maybe For me, I'll answer that question first. I love math to begin with. So in when I was like in senior high school, there is no such thing as big data or machine learning yet. So we don't really know what's the future of statistics or math in 2010. But I do love like doing the calculations and analyzing data or playing with numbers. I love that. So it just bring me to this area, and then I am in this digital era, and we know that it has more like a future career and prospect. And also working with data is actually very fun. You can make a lot of predictions and play around with data and see, wow, this is really interesting from the something random, and you can see actually there is a pattern behind of the such event, which is quite interesting. And I do love that, and that's why I choose to be in this path. It's not a long journey for me. I mean, it's a long journey maybe, but if you enjoy the process, not bad. Okay.
Oh, gitu. Ya, I see. Itu jadi kan tadi juga sempat disebutin ya, kayak ada kalau mau jadi data science ada ngikutin IT, math, statistik gitu. Nah, kira-kira major apa sih yang paling penting buat jadi data scientist itu?
Okay, Mas Ricky. In my opinion, the important major is in my opinion, yeah, I think statistics and math, and also domain knowledge about the business that we handle better, because programming or coding skills can learn every time when we ready about the object-oriented programming. But the basic skill about mathematics and statistics is the most important one to become a data scientist, in my opinion. Maybe Mas Ricky have other opinion.
I think I agree with that. But yeah, it doesn't mean that others are not important, but it's just learning statistics or math by yourself is not as easy when you're learning coding or business domain. You can watch like YouTube or whatever is it when you're learning coding or maybe domain knowledge. But when you're learning statistics, even you watch the YouTube and even with a lecture with the help of teacher, it's still not easy to understand.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why you need to learn from very basics and then slowly learning it and continuously. And yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I see. Jadi itu ya, math important gitu. Jadi, can you become a data scientist if you're actually like not good at math? Is it possible?
I don't think so. It's quite possible, but there are three kind of data. I think there are three kind of job about the data. You can be a data engineer, data analyst, and a data scientist. If you're not good at math, I think you can become a data engineer, because a data engineer is the person who design a database and design a storage to save and import the data, and then deliver it to the data analyst, and then the end of the wave to the data scientist. So if you're not good at math, in my opinion, you cannot become a good data scientist. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Kayak how does kayak data science bisa add value to a company gitu kalau in business times gitu, in real life gitu?
Okay, Mas Ricky,
Somebody
maybe
will-
you can go
I'll
first.
try. I'll try my best. I don't actually have practical knowledge about how actually data scientists can add value to the company, but I'll just guess. And I have some friends working in the startup or in a company working as data analysts. So what is the most important thing when you're working in the company is that, especially as data analyst, you want to understand. Normally, when working, it's different from as a research, because when you working as a researcher, you have a research question that you want to answer, and you know exactly what the aim of collecting data, what the objective of analyzing your data. But in working as the company, sometimes you don't know what's the objective of, analyzing the data, because the company want you to give insight what you get from the data. So the other way around. So you get the data and analyze them, see the pattern behind it, and explain them to the company. And that's how the data scientists contribute to the company, and how they actually add value. Because now everyone is making decision based on data. So it's very important for a data analyst to conduct very careful when collecting data or making a survey. Like, for example, you want to know about whether this product gonna be successful if we launch them to the market. So we need to at least make some testing, and we collect random people on a certain group of people or something like that. And then we analyze them. If we launch this, and then we're gonna have a response at this kind of thing and it will, and that can help the company or anyone who in charge in making decision whether they want to carry out the project, they want to carry out with this the product, or they have to change or update or improve the product more in order to get more attention. So something like that. So it's like more recommendation to the company itself. So I think maybe that's all, but because I don't really know exactly. Somebody can add.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mas Ricky, because there is a famous quote about data. Yeah, without data, we just a person with an opinion. Yeah, like that. Without a data, we just a person with an opinion. So data is so important to company, or maybe to create a decision, and then to create some new product. We should research. So research is need a data, and then we can take what decision is better and what product is good for the society, like that.
Oh, terus kan like in the company kan biasanya you accumulate privacy data, like data from the apa yang pemakainya gitu kan. Terus how do you take the precaution against kayak hackers yang mau ngambil private informationnya orang-orang gitu?
Sorry, what's the question again? I missed the point.
Jadi kan in company kan data scientist kan kayak collect the data of the people kan. Yeah, and how do you like precaution gitu kayak how do you take precaution against cyber hackers yang mau ngambil data privasinya orang-orang?
It's quite difficult question to answer. I think it's beyond my knowledge, because I don't really know, because I'm not working like as a data engineer. I think it's part of the data engineers to protect the data itself. But the main job of data analysis is just collecting data, and then we analyze them and give insight to what we get from the data. And how we keep the data, I think, is different purpose. I mean, different job from us as a data analyst, but we indeed are responsible for it. So that's why when I do the presentation before, we need to be careful when we store or keep the information, especially when it is related to a lot of people's data. So for example, you don't want just access any open Wi-Fi without any, make sure that it is secure or not, and don't just like type your password in the public and then anything else. So don't try to access your email or your important accounts using the public access, something like that, because they can easily hack your information. But beyond that, I don't have any knowledge how to actually protect from the hacker training or the hacker attack or something like that. So yeah, sorry, maybe I couldn't answer that question.
Okay, I see. Ito kan, tadi I also saw in your presentation, you said something about the demand for data talent, right? It's like around 67%. So what do you think like the jobs or professions that's related to data science?
The job and the profession that related to data science is, I think I can give you an example about a risk advisor. So risk advisor is related to the data science. So with a data, we can create and we can research about the danger which decision should be taken. So risk advisor, a job that give an advice to the company for what decision should be taken. And then there are another business intelligence or business analyst. So it's a data science related. And the last one maybe a researcher. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Itu menurutnya Kak Amri, which one yang paling popular ya amongst the data scientist students atau apa gitu?
I think data scientist itself is popular in the whole world right now, maybe.
Oh.
In my opinion, maybe Mas Ricky can give some more explanation.
Yeah, I think I think I agree with the examples of data science related job. And for the in Indonesia itself, the data, I think we are still short at a lack of a data scientist. Most of us are working as data analysts because it's different between data analysts and data scientists. and it's quite popular to be a data analyst in Indonesia. So many of data talent working as data analysts, as you also see from the slide, the biggest proportion is also coming from data analysts, right? So that's what is to be popular among students when working in this area, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. So what are the features selection method used to select the right variables for like data stuff gitu?
Okay, thank you, Marsa. This is maybe a statistics question, yeah. So there are a lot of methods to choose the right feature. You can use feature important or maybe wait, sorry, I forget. Yeah, feature important. With the algorithm of the feature important, we rank the most important feature, and then with the rank value, we can choose which one is the best and which one is the worst. So after we run the feature important algorithm, we can remodel the data, create a new model with the new data with the selector feature, and then we can check again, is it that there is still a bad variable in the model or not? Yeah, maybe Mas Ricky can add some more theory about this one.
This is a bit statistics question. So yeah, as Mas Amri said, there are a lot of methods that can be used for feature selection. Just already mentioned one of them, and many more like random forest. You can also use that, like SVM. So depending on what you want to achieve, I mean, and is it about accuracy or is it about predictions or is it to understand the relationship between your variables, or yeah, so it depending on the type of data as well. So each method has their drawbacks, and there are many more in out there, and you can just like sort out which one, and by comparing and looking at the example from the papers or something like that. So yeah, we don't want to like talk specific method or anything else.
Just like as data scientist yourself gitu, what is the key to become like a good data scientist gitu?
So what is good make us as a good data scientist? So we also need to be aware the objective of the modeler. So when you try to model data, analyze data, make the inference about it, you need to be aware what's the purpose of that company or that your team trying to make from this one. Ask yourself and ask maybe your model whether this is harmful to other people. Is it fair? Is it like transparent and everyone can like argue? Is it like unbeatable, like invisible, something like that? And you need to also hold principle as a good data scientist, like we're working to make everything. I mean, we want to make our lives is better, not just easier. As you can watch from the last video, technology comes to help us to overcome what the humans cannot. So what the human cannot do, and that's what the technology comes. It's also what the data scientist comes in. And basically, the data science is used to overcome the real problems, so the real issues. So we solve the issues. So that's the real objective of the data scientist. And I think this book is a very nice book if you want to know how to make a good data scientist. And yeah, this is very interesting book, and I recommend you to read this one for this question. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the time is finally coming to an end. Any final words for our audience about being future leaders or data scientists gitu?
Pardon, I can hear clearly.
So the time is finally coming to an end. Any final words for our audiences about being future leaders?
Oh, inspirational words, yeah. Maybe Mas Ricky first. I'm sorry. This is
okay.
This is beyond my skills.
What? So future leaders and data scientists. Especially, I just want you again to remember, as a data people, I want you to like to be aware the consequence of throwing away, giving away your personal information. You have to be responsible for your own data, the protection of your own data, and how to make use of the data. And if some days you are working in a big company, working as a data scientist or data analyst, and you also need to hold the principle whether what you do is actually help people or make people more sufferers or something like that. So because yeah, working as a data scientist, we always want to, maybe if working in the industry, in a company, we always want to gain profit for the company to the best use of data. But you also need to question yourself, by gaining profit from the company, does it help people? Does it solve the problem? So yeah, that's also I want you as a future leader to think of when you're gonna work in this big data, because the consequence what we do may be far beyond what we can actually control, especially if the model that we use is being scaled from like just small group of people then to one city and then become a common like law in Indonesia, even like in the world, then you don't know what the consequence of that data or model that you propose to will be in the future. So just ask yourself and hold the principle as a good data scientist. Yeah.
Mungkin dari Kak Amri ada tambahan?
Yeah, maybe for the future leaders, maybe you can become a data scientist that make an impact for a better environment, for the better world, or maybe for the better living. Yeah, just like that.
Okay. So yeah, thank you so much ya Kak Amri dan Kak Ricky for addressing these interesting topics today about data science and how to protect our own data and manage them. So on behalf of IPH Schools, we would like to thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
For more of
Thank you
IPH
all.
Schools activities, we are going to have one last final session with Coreno, who will be talking about the strengths of public speaking and about having a determined passion.
And juga to the viewers, don't forget there will be a generous open house giveaway and promos in the school's IG account. And the 3 lucky winners for today's session will also be posted in the school's Instagram account as well. So stay tuned at IPH School's official Instagram account for updates and announcement.
Again, thank you everyone for gracing this session with us. Stay safe and healthy. I am Haley.
And I am Marcia. God bless you all. Bye-bye.
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 Bye bye. Thank you all.